Coming up on Mountain News this morning, communities were without power and other services due to a copper theft. And we take a look at what officials in one Kentucky county are doing to curb deadly overdoses.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this January 6th. The time is now 6:30, so let's check in with meteorologist Megan Desmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, here lately, it's kind of been feeling like spring and summer mornings, especially with like the rain, the overcast. Like, it's kind of eerie almost, you know, when you remind yourself, hey, it's January 6th, not quite April or May.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's definitely feeling like spring, especially with the allergies coming back. It's definitely not a wonderful time of the year, but don't worry, we are going to get back down to normal temperatures as we head into next week. So let's kind of plan out what you can expect today, though, as we are still seeing some of those warmer temperatures. Currently, we're looking at a range of 40. Some folks are a little bit warmer, hitting 50 degrees in Stanton, 54 in Monticello. Other folks are on the colder side, 32 right now in Whitesburg. So maybe opt for a jacket this morning, but by the afternoon, you probably won't need it as we do warm into a mixture of the low to mid 60s. Overall, not a bad forecast for today. Just a little bit of some clouds as you're starting off the morning, and then as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at some slight chances for some scattered showers entering into that forecast. Caroline.
Megan, thank you. A New Year's party lands a Southern Kentucky middle school teacher in trouble. Lincoln County deputies say children between ages of 13 and 17 were drinking at Jessica Berry's home. She's charged with third-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. Alyssa Williams spoke with the Lincoln County Sheriff about the situation.
Lincoln County Sheriff Sean Hines says it's a situation that's left several community members concerned. A middle school teacher cited after her child had friends over for a New Year's Eve party. Hines says a deputy got a tip there was underage drinking at Jessica Berry's home in Stanford, leading deputies to her home around 1:30 that morning.
Her statement at that time was that, yes, there was teenagers at her house that was aware that they had brought alcohol, that somebody had brought alcohol to the party, but nobody was, her statement, nobody intoxicated, nobody falling down drunk, nothing like that.
Hines says after deputies conducted other interviews, they discovered around 20 teens, ages 13 to 17, were at her home and that several kids were intoxicated. He says deputies went back to Berry's home later that day, where she admitted she knew kids were drinking.
So occupation of a teacher, there's greater consequences.
Because Berry was forthcoming with information, Hines says she was not arrested, but cited with third-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. Hines says the situation should serve as a lesson for parents that you have to be more vigilant, whether that be what your kids are doing when they're going out with their friends or even what they're doing with their friends inside your own home.
Do we see stuff like this happen and parents have no idea? We do. It might not seem like much for Miss Berry at the time. You know, she's having a child's friends over, but as parents, we've got to do a better job of overseeing when we have gatherings like that.
Lincoln County Schools officials say Berry is on administrative leave while this situation is being investigated. In Lincoln County, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
Berry is set to be arraigned on January 26th. It's been more than 1 week since 13-year-old Rockcastle County teen Winter Wagner was found safe in Maryland. She was missing for more than 2 months. Yesterday, the man charged with her disappearance, 37-year-old Christian Delgado, made his first court appearance in the county. According to Delgado's arrest warrant, the two met online, and Delgado drove from Florida to pick up Wagner and drove back to Florida before heading to Maryland. Delgado pleaded not guilty to a felony charge of kidnapping. His preliminary hearing is set for March. However, officials say they expect more charges in Maryland, Florida, and another jurisdiction in Kentucky. Rockcastle County officials also held a news conference about the case. U.S. Marshals confirmed Winter called her aunt and her dad to tell them where she was. U.S. Marshals got a team together within minutes to find her and arrest Delgado. Now, Deputy U.S. Marshal Collier Phillips says a federal detainer has been lodged on Delgado for a federal complaint warrant. Kentucky State Police are also warning parents to keep an eye on what children are doing online.
Be nosy with your children. Be nosy when they're playing somebody on their little Xbox or their PlayStation game and they're talking to them and maybe they're talking a little inappropriate. You don't know where that monster is hiding.
Delgado's lawyer, Christopher Spedding, asked the court to lower his client's bond, but Judge Catherine Sloan denied the request. Officials believe Delgado will be indicted before his preliminary hearing in March, and a federal criminal investigation remains ongoing. The Wolf County woman charged with fetal homicide is facing more charges. Melinda Spencer was arrested last week after telling a clinic she aborted her pregnancy. After she was taken to the Three Forks Regional Jail, officers found a syringe in her pocket. Spencer told them she brought the syringe in with her and used it for meth. She's now facing a contraband charge and is supposed to be in court for it tomorrow. We don't know when Spencer will be in court for the fetal homicide case. A Martin County man was arrested this weekend after police say he stole a car from Pikeville Medical Center while waiting to visit his newborn child. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the bizarre story.
Officers with the Pikeville Police Department say the call came in around 9 a.m. on January 2nd.
Upon the arrival of the officers, they made contact with the victim, and at that point they had reported their vehicle had been stolen.
An arrest warrant claims Christopher Mollett of Tomahawk was at Pikeville Medical Center waiting to visit his ex-girlfriend who was at the hospital giving birth to their child.
He was going to see the victim and he was not given admittance into the hospital due to visiting hours, so she said that he could stay in the vehicle to stay warm.
Police say an investigation confirmed Mollett then took the car from the hospital without permission and did not return.
Warrants ended up taken out on that suspect, and he was later taken into custody in Johnson County.
Mollett was found driving the car near the Budget Inn in Paintsville Saturday and was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center in Pike County. Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Mollett is charged with receiving stolen property and theft by unlawful taking of an automobile. The internet was out in Estill and Laurel counties for hours last night. The internet provider Kinetic says it's because thieves stole about 1,500 feet of copper and fiber cable. The same thing happened in the same area in 2025. Kinetic says they have incidents fairly often, at least 4 or 5 times a week. That's almost 200 thefts last year. Kinetic is working with law enforcement to crack down on these thefts, but Kinetic area manager David Godsey is asking for your help.
Nobody saw it, and we're asking for the community's help to be vigilant and keep your eyes out for anything out of place. Call, see what's going on.
A utility pole was also damaged in the incident. Kinetic is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to the thieves' arrest. In Hardin County, spokespersons say a plan to help curb deadly overdoses is working. Members of the Quick Response Team, as it's called, say their goal of rapid responses to people affected by substance abuse helps with recovery. They say the number of deadly overdoses decreased by 30% in 2025 from 1 year prior. Hardin County Chief Deputy Coroner Shauna Norton decided to do something to curb the number of lives lost to overdoses.
They're ready to go to treatment. We load them up in the vehicle. We take them to treatment. If they're not, we leave them with Narcan. We leave them with test strips. We leave them with education.
Norton adds the Quick Response Team launched after Hardin County received a grant to obtain opioid abatement money. The county will be going back to the state this year to request those same funds and more to continue their efforts. In London, hours of arguments and testimony were heard in a courtroom after more than 80 city workers sued their city council. Acting Police Chief Bobby Day testified, warning a new ordinance will cut his staff nearly in half. He says that means slower response times and fewer detectives on streets. The fire chief and public works director also say their departments will suffer greatly, from clearing roads in the snow to garbage pickup.
These people are going to leave, and it's going to be very hard to get somebody to come back in here with the current situation.
The judge said he is hopeful both sides can come up with an agreement to prevent problems taking effect. He says he will issue a ruling by tonight. Highway 41 in Todd County fully reopened yesterday, nearly a week after a train derailed carrying toxic materials. Crews worked all day Sunday to clean up the roadway. CSX, along with coordinating agencies, completed removing debris, stabilizing the site, and cleaning the roadway. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says after an inspection, the road is safe for normal travel operations. Drivers are still encouraged to use caution due to ongoing monitoring.
And overall, we are just seeing a large range of temperatures this morning from the low 30s to the low 50s. So as you're heading out the door, kind of gauge what it's going to feel like. For the most part, though, I would suggest a jacket to a coat. But by the time we head to the afternoon, you will not need those layers as those temperatures do make its way into the low 60s. I mean, that range is between 59 to 64 degrees, with some folks even having the chance to get up to 66. That's a forecast high for Monticello and Manchester. So it's going to get warm, so keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. But as you're heading to the bus stop, here's what you need to know. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures in a range of the 40s as you're heading off. But by the time you're heading back, we're going to be looking at mostly cloudy skies with some slight chances for some scattered showers returning into that forecast. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning, the CDC is now classifying this flu season as moderately severe as cases continue to rise.